I love bananas. And you know who else loves bananas? This guy. So let's see how fast we can touch a banana in every Donkey Kong game, starting with the original Donkey Kong arcade game. Right, there's no bananas in this game. Starting with Donkey Kong 2. All right, Donkey Kong 3. Okay, what is even going on in this game? All right, how about we try Donkey Kong Jr.? There we go, now we're talking. Let's just climb over here and touch our first banana. Let's keep it going with Donkey Kong Jr. Math. Okay, yeah, so this was an interesting era of Donkey Kong games. There are actually a bunch released for the Game & Watch, including blockbuster hits like Donkey Kong Hockey and Donkey Kong Circus. Why aren't you a banana? Until eventually we got this little game called Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. And let me tell you, it came with an absolute banger of an intro song. In this game, all of DK's bananas have been stolen, but fortunately they decided to leave some right outside his house, so we can just touch these. On to Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, where they realized that instead of stealing the banana horde, they could just steal Donkey Kong himself, which is fine for us because all we care about is touching bananas. And right away in the first level, we've got some taunting us overhead, but luckily there's also some on the ground just a little bit further. In Donkey Kong Country 3, they realized that stealing Donkey Kong wasn't enough, so they decided to kidnap Diddy Kong too. So this time we take control of Dixie Kong. If there's ever a Donkey Kong Country 4, I bet I could tell you what the plot would be. Anyways, let's recruit this big baby as a sidekick, then take a quick boat ride over to the first level where we can touch some bananas in this hut here. Over to the Game Boy now for the Donkey Kong Land series, which on the surface may look like straight up ports of the Donkey Kong Country series. And while there are a lot of similarities, these games are different enough to be considered standalone entries in the Donkey Kongiverse. But all we care about right now is touching bananas. And let me tell you, these games really streamline the banana touching process. In all three, we can touch bananas within seconds in the first levels. Okay, now let's take a quick detour over to one of my favorite games growing up, Diddy Kong Racing on the N64. Now, this might not technically be a Donkey Kong game on account of Donkey Kong being completely MIA, and I don't think he was kidnapped this time. But we've still got Diddy, so after talking to a friendly elephant genie and driving into the first course, we've still got plenty of bananas we can touch. Next up, we've got Donkey Kong 64, a somewhat polarizing game when compared to other 3D platformers at the time, but I loved this game as a kid and still look back on it very fondly. After a lengthy intro cutscene where a bunch of Kongs are abducted, which seems to be a recurring theme in these games, I'm realizing, we begin in Donkey Kong's house where we can slide on a banana peel right away, but I want to touch an actual banana, so let's continue onward. Now, even though there are approximately 7 billion bananas in this game, Donkey Kong 64 really makes you work for them early on. Before we can get to banana touching, we first have to complete a few easy tutorials without messing them up at all. Then we can learn Big Monkey Slam from Cranky and use that to enter the main hub world. But we can't touch bananas quite yet because first we gotta swim over to Mr. Big Lizard Boy over here so he can break this rock for us. Then we'll warp back to the main island in some kind of futuristic teleportation banana peel, which I'm also not going to count. But luckily, soon after that, we can touch this beautiful golden banana. Over to the Game Boy Advance now with DK King of Swing. After an intro cutscene where King K. Rool does his best Dr. Robotnik impression, we can touch a nice looking banana during a very intense, difficult tutorial session with Cranky. Next up, we've got the sequel to King of Swing, Donkey Kong Jungle Climber. Now, in this game, we aren't just handed bananas easily by simply walking to the right in a tutorial. This time, we have to walk right and then jump. On to Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, a game that uses bongos as controllers, first introduced in the Donkey Konga games, which do not have bananas, in case you were wondering. Now, I don't actually own the bongos controller, but I do have a cat. Doesn't seem to be working. Luckily though, the Wii version of the game lets you play with a Wii remote, so with that connected, we can touch some bananas after the initial tutorial section. Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, another game that was supposed to use the bongo controller, but was later scrapped for Wii controls. And it's really a shame the bongos weren't used, because when you think about controls for a bongo-centric racing game, this is not what comes to mind. Anyways, if we hop into a Grand Prix, we can touch bananas early on in the first race. Alright, so we made it through another interesting era of Donkey Kong. How about we return to Donkey Kong Country with Donkey Kong Country Returns. Let's start this game by beating up a tiki totem, then begin our quest to recover our stolen bananas once again. Now, luckily for us, we've got a secret stash hidden in this box here that we can touch. And finally, we have Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, where an armada of evil penguins arrive and proceed to completely freeze over DK Isle, and I presume all of its bananas. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find frozen bananas to be absolutely delicious, so I'm not complaining. But unfortunately, we did get flung away from the island, so we'll have to settle for some regular old bananas here. And for the final results, here's how long it takes to touch a banana in every Donkey Kong game, from slowest to fastest. We're getting so close to 100,000 subscribers, so if you like these kinds of videos, it would mean a lot if you subscribed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.